If you've been around the For Honor community these past couple of days, then you're probably aware that players are pretty upset right now with a new feature being added to For Honor. And this may come as a surprise because this community is never upset at anything. But the problem right now is that in Marching Fire, a lot of the heroes got a bunch of new voice lines to go with For Honor's new responsive dialogue system, which is actually a great addition to the game. The problem is that the quality of these voice lines aren't up to par with some of the old voice lines or the ones that we have in the game now. And I'll show you guys a couple of these voice lines before and after the Marching Fire updates so that those of you who haven't heard them yet understand what was done. If you've already heard them, feel free to click on the timestamp in the description to skip this part.
Done, Backlash! Jävla bröker! Röhan! Done, Backlash! Jävla bröker! Röhan!
I come to teach fear!
A knight! That's grand!
Che peccato!
Don Backlash!
I am growing impatient! A night awaits, samurai! Duty weighs you down!
Mísero! Incumbe! Incumbe!
Duty calls, good sir. With honor, brother. Mísero! 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 Ha-ha! Mísero! Mísero!
So some of them have obviously gotten worse, but some of them have gotten better in my opinion. Overall, I think it's a good system, and I think that UB did have good intentions in adding it, because as I said a long time ago, I think having more dialogue for the heroes, whether it be through attacks or pre-match banter, is good, and it helps give a hero some life. But some of the voice lines do feel a little low budget, especially Warden. The old Warden just sounded tougher and more war-hardened, and the new Warden just sounds a little too high-pitched and basically the exact opposite of what he was before. And you can really hear him screeching from so far away while playing Breach, and it's sort of funny to see a decked out Warden and to hear him squeak out a line when he sees you. And I'm sure that the system isn't perfected yet, but at the start of fights, the heroes sort of talk over each other, and they talk at the same time sometimes, which is a little annoying when you're trying to hear what they have to say to each other. And the voice lines on executions don't always come out. That is, when you can get an execution without getting poked by a minion. I do like how they comment to each other when someone is turtling up or running away. I think it's a nice touch, and I really want to see what it's like in brawls. Now, the overall quality of the voice lines do bother me a bit. Some heroes sound like they were just sort of thrown in front of a $30 Turtle Beach mic and talked into a metal bucket, especially both male and female gladiators, and this is where most of the outrage comes from. I'm sure that Yubi can fix it if it comes to it, but right now they seem set in their ways, and that these will be the voices we get in Season 8, and that we'll just have to get used to them. Now, one of the devs mentioned that players would be upset because of the changes in voices, and that it's only because it's new and that we're not accustomed to it. And I don't think that's the case. I think everyone wouldn't be upset. I think everybody would be fine if the new voices were great and that all the lines were delivered the way they should be. I think that since literally every hero in the game is fighting to the death, that you should hear it in their voices, and right now some of them just sound a little silly. Now, I really don't think this should be a reason that anybody drops the game, because when you're fighting you hardly pay attention to them, unless you're playing duel of course. But in modes like Dominion or Breach, where there's tons of noise, I don't think it'll really be a big deal. At most it'll be just an annoyance. One way to make everyone happy though would be to just give us an option to turn off the responsive dialogue system and just keep what we have now. That way you could please the Highlander mains who will miss his old deep boomy voice, while giving the new people who like Highlander's new Scottish voice a way to listen to it. But I'm not sure that'll happen. Now, for the people who claim that we should have a Blackout 2.0, I really don't want to go through that again over in-game dialogue. I can understand when they tried to take stuff out of the game, or if they tried to do something really scummy, but this isn't the time for a blackout or a time to boycott the game. I get being unhappy with voices and all, but the game is bouncing back a little bit, and a blackout headline isn't necessary. And for the people who are personally attacking the dev team, whether it be in Twitch streams or comments or Reddit, again, there's no need to attack anyone personally. You can criticize their work all you want, but personal insults toward them or their families aren't necessary. The switch to the hero speaking English is understandable, but not really needed. Personally, I think it sounded much cooler when the heroes spoke in their native tongues, but they sort of all need to speak the same language to talk to each other or for us to understand them. Now, some people are asking, why can't they just recast the old voice actors? And in short, they couldn't. Overall, I don't hate the new system. Personally, I don't really hate all the voices either. If there was one that really needs to be changed without argument, it's Warden, because right now he just doesn't cut it. And for him to be one of the strongest and most popular heroes, I really don't want to listen to that all the time. Imagine being ganked by 3 shoulder bash living Wardens. I'm pretty sure that my speakers would probably blow out. And I don't think that this was the nerf that Warden really needed. I actually really like the fact that the heroes have these new voice lines and sort of react to each other. It's just the quality is the biggest problem. And I'm sure I speak for a lot of people when I say that. If the lines were delivered with different voice actors or just different voices that sounded really similar to the ones we have now, or just really cool, I don't think anyone would complain. And maybe this is a personal nitpick, but maybe they could remove the whole under the helmet effect, if that's what you want to call it. I completely get it. You can't hear someone's voice clearly under a helmet. It's supposed to be a little muffled, but I think it would sound better without it on. We can hope for separate options for voices, but I'm not sure that's ever going to happen, and we can hope that maybe a few heroes get revoiced. We've already heard Yubi's stance on the whole thing, so my money's on this is what we're going to get, and who knows, maybe we'll all get used to it. I really like the voice acting we've got currently. I think all the heroes have great voice lines as of right now, and a lot of them are really memorable, like how Lawbringer yells at Mortem, or how Centurion taunts his opponents and yells with confidence. And it will sort of suck not being able to hear these classic lines anymore. Anyways, that's all I got for this video. I just wanted to talk about this for a little bit since it seems like the voice lines have gotten more attention than the rest of Marching Fire. I really do want to hear your opinion on this since it seems to be pretty one-sided right now. Do you like the new voices? Do you hate them? Or are you like me and you don't really mind most of them? And as always, if you agree with me or just like the video, feel free to leave a like and sub if you're new, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.